Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Friday, October 23rd, 2020. My name is Rich, and joining me once again this week is Bijan. How you making out?
Bijan. Who was that? Bijan.
Oh, yeah.
You all like this music? Yeah? Is this what you like? Because the ANW producers sure to seem to like this. Does this make you feel uncomfortable?
Very.
This is how I felt today.
Stop it.
How long shall we go with this, guys? Rich, do you like me talking to you like this?
No, for the love of God, would you stop? What are you doing? What was that?
Yeah, that's a good question, my man. What was that? Why play music like that, huh?
Whose segment were you referring to? I missed that somewhere along the way.
Oh, we'll get into it, my man. How did you not? Right. How did you miss that?
I have no idea. Now I'm curious. Like I apparently wasn't paying very close attention at some point along the way.
Oh, well,
there was a horse ass moment that totally went past me.
I wouldn't say it's horse ass because we'll get into it. But how are you, my man?
I'm doing good. How are you making out?
Hey, I'm fine. I mean, living life. It's been busy in the library system, getting ready for Halloween, and got some other things going on in my life. But yo, ANW's here, and man, this season's flying by. We are already in semifinals? What? And yeah. Also, I mean, why don't you explain to everybody, because we missed a week, but we are going to catch up. Why don't you explain what's going on?
Yeah, we're running a bit behind. So we're going to do semifinals episode 1 right now. We'll hopefully be able to turn around semifinals episode 2 before too long, but we're going to cover the first one right now. And yeah, it's interesting. There's only a couple episodes left. It's really going to go by fast at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, really, I like this episode, bro. Like, it gives me a lot more of that ninja versus ninja vibe where it was almost like a sport, if that makes sense. Like, we got a lot less of the backstories, which honestly I'm fine with. I feel like that is very important for a lot of the new, the new ninjas. But I always loved it when we got to the finals and it was just like, just straight up onto it. Like, if we get a story, it's kind of like a reminder, or we might get like one or two, like, individual stories. But other than that, it's like just full on, this is the course, this is the craziness, and let's see what's happening. And I really like the vibe of it. I don't think they skip too many people. I can't be upset about really anything. I like this.
I like the episode a lot. I do feel like, I don't know if I was up on it as much as you are. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as much as any city finals course. It doesn't feel like Vegas to me, right? I'm kind of missing Vegas at this point, I guess.
It's not Vegas. I mean, let's be real. But yeah.
It has a lot of good star power. Like I like the condensed nature of it, so we get a lot of like our top ninjas in here this one episode, and the course itself was one of the best I've ever seen. I love all these new obstacles.
We gotta talk about these obstacles. But just one thing that, it might be me that's doing it wrong or whatever, but I envisioned this course more like it was the city finals. But it sounds like you were looking at it more like it was the Vegas finals. And I honestly don't think you might be wrong. I mean, it is a semifinals, but just the way everything's been going, I viewed it more as like a city final type course. So that's maybe why I was a little bit more high up on it.
Could be. And it's not that I didn't enjoy it, because I did. I really enjoyed it. I just feel like you really enjoyed it by the sounds of it.
There were a few uncomfortable moments.
All right. So let's do it this way. Let's talk about the course itself before we get into some of these runs, because there was a lot to talk about in this course.
That corkscrew, though, man.
Ooh. So let's go through a couple in a row here, because there's like several new obstacles, and they were all good. I loved all of them.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that, I mean, we've talked about this a lot, but a lot of these obstacles are like a 1-2 punch where it starts to wear on you, where, one could be, you're doing it and it's difficult, but it subtly is really wearing out your grip strength and your forearms and everything else. And it's a lot of muscle groups where, in particular for this course, your grip in your forearm where it's really going to wear out, where you have to squeeze really hard to brace yourself. And then you got to go on to another obstacle where you're using those same muscle groups that are going to like be brutal on you. And I really like the layout of it. But yeah, go on to, you know, I don't want to spoil the lead or whatever the term is.
All right. Well, we'll skip over the repeat obstacles. Let's talk about these new ones. So Clockwork is the first one.
Okay, so this one, in my opinion, is kind of like the, what do you call it? The roller coaster one, man. What's that called again?
Double Dipper,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that in the fact where Double Dipper is hard, don't get me wrong, but it's the visual aspect of this thing that's so cool. I thought this obstacle was dope as all heck. I don't know how difficult it was, just because once you get the psychological aspect of it where it's moving, but it's moving into place to where you can grab it again. And I'm not trying to sell it short. That thing looks difficult as all heck. But I think it's the visual aspect that really makes this something.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think it was very visually dynamic. Like you said, as long as you release at the right point, it should be where you're expecting to normally catch something like that. So hopefully it wasn't too difficult. We didn't see too many falls there, but we did have a couple people go out. To me, it kind of weirdly, as much as it doesn't really look like it, kind of reminded me of Crank It Up in a sense. Like it's got that same kind of dynamic. Visually
Crank
very
It Up
appealing.
is harder though. I mean, let's be real.
What's that?
Crank It Up is harder.
Yeah, for sure. But I liked it. It was a good obstacle. Anything visually interesting, you know, something draws you in and makes you go, wow, what is that doing? Oh, cool. How does that affect it? And you start trying to think through the obstacle. I like that. I like a thinking obstacle.
Yeah, like out of all these obstacles, I feel like this is the one where if somebody's just browsing through the channels, this is the obstacle which will make somebody stop and be like, whoa, what is that?
Yeah, and not as visually dynamic, but I like it. I think it was a really great addition as Burn Rubber. I like that balanced obstacle. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. I'm still confused. Maybe you caught it. Like, do you know how it turns or spins on the axes? Because, I mean, it didn't look as, like, I don't know, spinny as... I almost said spinny. I like that's a word. Anyways, like, I don't know how quickly it rotates on its axis or what the dynamics are of, like, when they lock or anything like that. I just wasn't able to get a really good feel for that obstacle.
Yeah, sometimes it didn't seem like, and they can always adjust those things. They might have found that they had a lot of falls and they decided to tighten it up so it didn't spin as freely. Who knows? Like, but I like that it wasn't just run all out and, you know, just throw yourself at the obstacle. It really, the way it was offset, and it really, I think, required more balance and nimbleness than we see in a lot of these.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. And I fully agree. It's dynamic, and as you said, it involves a lot more than just run at it as fast as you can and, you know, hope that you can get through it.
Man, there's still two more. Corkscrew, we got to talk about, because that thing is...
This is the best!
One of the best obstacles they've ever put in.
I love obstacles where it just looks simple, but yet it's so crazy hard. And when I saw it, I was like, that's interesting. But we've seen obstacles like these before where it looks difficult, but there's something about it where all the ninjas can do it. This is like the opposit, man, where it's like, dude, this is tough. And when you saw like this, the first guy just get like thrown, I think it was Matisse Awadi, right?
It was, yeah.
He straight up got thrown, and I'm like, yo, this is going to be a problem. And I don't know, I was giddy in all my evil senses of just like every time somebody was coming up to it, in particular if they're long and lanky and stuff, I was just like, oh, let's see it.
Yeah,
I'm a terrible human being, but man, I was so happy.
It does kind of bring it the worst, and you're like, Grant's taking the course. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Let's see what it does to him. Yeah. It's definitely so interesting because of the momentum it gathers, and it just spins so crazy fast.
Dude, I'm shocked nobody hurt themselves. Like, we saw a few instances where somebody could have, but man, that...
They probably did. Like, there was probably some pulled muscles and God knows what going on, because the faces, the grimaces they'd make as they just got spun, and the ones that could manage to hang on looked like we're grimacing really tough sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, sometimes it's just adrenaline that gets you through, but dude, like the fact that you spun that quickly and your body, like you're spinning all of your body weight with the gravity and motion, just going one way, and the only thing stopping all of that weight and momentum is just your forearms. Oh man.
Yeah.
Like, as you said, somebody's probably pulling muscles and everything else and tearing some stuff, but wow, that looked painful. In the slow motion, when you saw like the muscles, like all flexing and tightening, and the people's faces grimacing, it was just grade A, beautiful television.
Yep, that's exactly what I was just thinking.
So happy, yeah.
Great obstacle, but even more so, it makes for fantastic television. It makes it so interesting to watch. You watch them get through the first one, you've got to because even the laches up are 4 feet high. They've got these big laches up to get to the next one, and you're just waiting for it. They've got no time to prep, and it just spins them around again. It is one of the best obstacles they put in years.
Yeah, and that's a great point, is the fact that, as you said, you lache up, but not only that, you have no time to brace yourself or tighten your arms. It's not something where you hold it and then you, on your own momentum, spin it. Once there's any weight, that thing drops. And I forgot who it was. I think it was one of the female competitors. They went up and tried to grab it, but they just touched it, and that thing just dropped. They fell in the water, but that thing just dropped to the point where it's just ready to drop. There is no way you're just bringing it down. So I love that factor. And I mean, yeah, as you said, the laches and everything else. Not only that, think about this. It spins on you, you do all that, and then you have to reset and do it again two more times in terms of laches. You are wearing your arms out completely. And at this point, you've already done 2 other obstacles that involve your grip strength and your forearm strength. And then, Rich, why don't you explain, after all of this hard work that they do on their forearms, what do they have to do after this?
Well, then next they have the dungeon in front of them, just to make things even more interesting, which is a vertical climb up pegs that drops down and becomes then a horizontal, I don't even know what you want to call it, almost like a vertical limit type thing, where you've got to hold onto these pegs vertically. You don't have the all you have is your grip strength to hold you up, and
it's kind of like nunchucks. The thing is, man, I mean, I'll tell you, it is so darn difficult to hold on to your body weight with the pegs going straight down like that. I mean, these ninjas made it easily, because if you can get this far, I mean, you got some grip strength, but I cannot tell you guys how difficult that is. And I was astounded by how many people were able to just don't get me wrong, they didn't do it easily, but they were able to do it. And I was like, how could anybody do this?
Yeah, we saw lots of examples of where they made it almost look easy, right? They had lots left in the tank somehow at that point. Just next level. They're all so amazing. So let's get into the ninjas.
But not
themselves.
just that, man. They have to lache and transfer over to another
right.
portion.
Yeah,
it's brutal. And then they have to do that spider climb, which I'm guessing they're all. I mean, it's still your forearm strength, but at least you're doing the other. I guess bending the other way your forearms, so maybe it's not as bad, but I mean, it's still terrible.
And then you have to open those doors, those spider traps. It's not even like you can just power your way up with your legs. You've got to open each of the doors as you go up to.
Yeah, this was
crazy.
A brutal course. I am excited to see next week's, or well, I guess whenever we record it,
this week's, yeah.
since it's already out. But
yeah. So let's get into the actual runs here. We started off with Matisse Kid Owadi, which did not bode well for him, right? Not a great placement to get. You're like, oh boy. Let's see what happens here.
I knew it was going to... I mean, when's the last time we actually saw somebody complete the course on the first run? I know it's happened.
We've had a couple,
it's rare.
Yeah.
But I was more curious to see where it happened. What... I felt like since it's Matisse Owadi, wherever he falls was going to be the ninja killer. So it was more like, okay, let's see what's the one that's going to take out Matisse.
Yeah, I surprisingly, as much as I do overthink these sometimes, I didn't give it much thought as to where he was going to go out. I just kind of figured he wasn't going to finish, and I was curious, didn't know if it was going to be a shocking fall or what. I was kind of surprised at how deep he went, to be honest. But then once he did, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And like you said, I think they're just highlighting the difficulty of this ninja killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing great. No problems. He as strong as ever. But that why is it? Jeez. The Corkscrew. I couldn't find the name for a second there. The Corkscrew tripped him up, as we saw for several ninjas this episode. So moving down, I do have some notes. I may have stolen the notes from somewhere online just to kind of keep me on track. So we're going to go through them one by one. I'll skip over the fast forwards for the most part. But
how many episodes did it take y'all? I knew Rich was going to go back to having notes.
I can't do it without them. They drive me crazy. Like trying to skip around and stuff. It makes me aggravated listening back. So hopefully this is a little more organized for everybody. Nate Hanson, he was the rookie who had the growth hormone deficiency. Really interesting build. And it's funny because I know when we first talked about him, I said like he's kind of ideally built in a weird way for ninja. I felt like with the longer arms, shorter torso. And he made the same comment in his package. He was saying like that he didn't see it as a disadvantage. If anything, he thought he was built for ninja.
Oh yeah, if there is a sport built for his size, it's definitely ninja.
Unfortunately, in this case, he did go out on burn rubber. Just he doesn't have the long strides. I think that really did hurt him in this case.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, is this his rookie season, I believe?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I have a feeling we're going to see him back a lot stronger and more prepared. And I can't even say prepared. I mean, he did fantastic. Just, I feel like this is his rookie year and he got really far. I think we're going to see him do really well.
Yeah, I
in future years.
Expect big things, for sure. Sandy Zimmerman. She had a big package. She is looking strong. She is
fantastic.
She stood out, in the season where she got the top of the warp wall, and there was like a big deal, the first mom to hit the buzzer. But I have to admit, I mean, I'll confess, I did kind of think maybe it was a one-hit wonder type deal, whereas like Sandy, maybe that was her
Zimmerman, really?
Yeah, I thought, they really played it up because of the, they like their milestones and stuff. But man, she's strong. She is so good. I really, well, she's 44. I mean, I'm saying I'm 44 as well. I'm not going to say anything against that.
Look at Zimmerman. She may be 44, but she
ain't the same 44 I am. I know what you're saying.
She's more fit than like both of us and all of our families put together. You know what I mean?
She's really strong and proved it once again. I love her. I'm glad she's back, and she's not only a great ninja, she's very entertaining and she's very engaging. She's fun to watch.
Yeah, she's a great personality. She's a great representative of the sport, being a female, older ninja. But I mean, that's not even fair to her in terms of like just her actual physical fitness. She's got a great personality. I think she's absolutely amazing and a star. And Oakley, that little girl that, sometimes I can get a little, cynical when we get the little kid segments and everything. But the fact that it wasn't as much of a boo-hoo, look at this little girl's illness, which, I don't like. That's the wrong word. But, I don't like Ninja Warrior being like, oh, let's milk this for all it is.
Right.
Rather than it's more like, let's do something really cool for this girl. And we got to see that in the little girl. I really liked her segment also. So, yeah, everything about this was like star making. And, dude, Zimmerman came to freaking show that she is for real. Like, she was so strong on this course. So amazing. I know Labreck got number 1 spot for the female, but is Zimmerman number 2, or was there somebody that also went further?
Pretty sure she got number 2.
I think it was Zimmerman, right? Yeah, so I'm actually really looking forward to Zimmerman in the finals, because, I mean, she can, in my opinion, was right up there with the other ninjas, like female ninjas.
Yeah, for all of them, really. She went out on Corkscrew. She had no real problems on the course. Strong all the way through. I love that she does did the little flex on the warped wall again. It's a very engaging, interacting with Matt and Akbar. It's nothing to not like here. Moving on, we had Donovan Montoyer, the classy ninja.
Oh, the classy ninja, huh? Did you like this segment?
I did not, but I didn't enjoy the first time around really that much either, and you seem to. Is this where the music came in?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Do
you like that?
Classy ninja.
Do you like that, Rich?
I'm into classy shirts.
Ooh.
Classy suits.
Ooh, look at that
Gotta
classy
have
suit.
classy shoes.
Hang on, where did it get real weird?
Class of its own.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Of course, I try to bring a little style.
Do you like that classiness?
So
And the whole landscape.
He wants that buzzer.
Yeah? You guys like that? How long was that? Did I have to hear that? I mean, yo. No. That's all I have to say. No. Don't do this. Don't do this. And yeah. I get it, but and just another thing. When they go back and when all of this is said and done, and I'm like, oh, thank God, it's finally over. They put his name out, right? And I don't know if you know this is Rich, right? But they have the names with the with the ninja like behind the name and everything. They have Donovan Montoyer, but the Y, the Y starts elongating the bottom part. So it's Montoyer, but the Y, like the bottom part, just gets longer and longer. And I get it; it's supposed to look like a tie, but with this music and everything,
I see.
I mean, this is a kid show, but I'm just saying.
That's interesting.
This was a fail. This is very much a shame. I don't know who thought this was. Yo, I can't even say this was like I can't like freak out about it. It's just so bad. It's laughable. I don't know what to say, man. It was weird. And Donovan, bless your heart, buddy, but you are not a sex symbol, in my opinion, by showing off shining shoes and stuff. Yeah, this was a segment.
You know
How
what?
did you miss that though?
You know what it was? As you were playing it, I realized what it was, why I kind of glossed over it, because I wasn't into it the first time, so it didn't really, I don't know, I zoned out a little bit, and I was focused in on the woman's voice whispering, and I was trying to figure out who it was. And I was so keyed into that.
That's when you're listening to all this and you're like, the only thought you have is,
I'm like,
what voice is that?
I was honestly sitting there going, is that Nikki Lee? I feel like that's Nikki. And that's all I could think through the whole segment. So that's what actually kept me from getting
Nikki, if you have anything to do with this, shame on you too. You can write an article all you want about me, but shame on you.
I'm curious. If anyone knows, I'd love to know who that was, because I feel like I know that voice.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I've seen this guy before. I feel like I spoke about him last time. I was like, what's this do with a shirt, with a suit on and everything? Like, no hate. Donovan seems like a great guy and everything, but I think they did poor Donovan here a little dirty. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you liked it last
Probably
time.
Probably
That's
not the best
intro
intro for.
I feel like last time you defended it, you're like, that was cool. He ran in a suit and everything, and I think it was fast forwarded, but you just kind of commented on it, and to me, it was like, that seems kind of crazy to me, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's better ways to introduce a dude running in a suit. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
And I really hope they don't do me dirty like this if I'm ever on the show again. I don't need to be, listening to let's just say, questionable music and people whispering, whatever. Yeah.
Well, this classy ninja did a 360 spin while reaching for the ledge on the warp wall, which is pretty cool.
So classy.
He ended up going out on the dungeon. He did really well in the course. He looked very strong, even beyond just the results. He looked very solid. Like, he was not struggling at all.
You went out on the dungeon, huh? Okay,
yes,
I need to stop.
Yes,
I need
stop.
to stop.
We are moving on to Tyler Gillette, the family-friendly super fan Tyler Gillette, who managed to keep the streak going of making me freaking cry in every episode this season. I was a mess with cousin Bill, who was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, ended up beating it, and then it came back, and his whole segment. And I will provide an update. I looked, and unfortunately earlier this month, Bill passed.
Really?
Yeah.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, I am sucked. I don't know if I am weepy, worse than ever, because of the pandemic. I think, I don't know. I'm in a in a state. I was just beside myself watching this segment, and then to see afterwards that happened. Tyler, I have no idea if you listen, but very sorry to hear that, and wish you all the best and your family. It was a good segment in that it drew you in. I don't feel like it was cheap, and like you said, sometimes they can kind of go overboard. I thought it was a genuine segment, and you can see Tyler's love for his cousin on the course as well.
Yeah, I mean, condolences. That's brutal. I had no idea that he passed. I mean, I wasn't as emotional, I guess, as you, but I definitely felt like, man, I feel for the guy and this family, watching this. I mean, I don't really know what else to say, man.
Yeah, I know. It is hard to follow through with. Like, typically we would try to edit, and might take some time to figure out how to go through this. So bear with us as we try to move on. Tyler did amazing on the course. There's not much else to say. Just it was a great run. I do feel like it was for Bill, and he did everything he set out to do. So that's great.
Yeah. My only hopes and wishes is that Bill passed peacefully, or at least, surrounded by his loved ones. In this day and age where I hear about, unfortunately people having to not be with their loved ones because of the pandemic and all that kind of stuff, I just hope he was with the people they loved.
All right. And I feel like intentionally in the editing brought Grant McCartney out right after that, right? Because Grant is always entertaining. I was able to pick the show back up from there. Grant's always entertaining, and I feel like sometimes it hurts him because they it's funny that even Matt called it out. Was like, stop slowing him down. Like, he needs to get going on the course. Like, stop asking him to dance. He's got a time he's got to try to beat here.
That's a good point. I never considered that, but yeah, when your time really matters, it's like, I wonder what goes through the ninjas' heads. It's like, well, I have to be entertaining because it's a show, so I have to give them something. But at what point does that, handicap me from actually moving on with the show?
Yeah, and in this case,
that's gotta be a tough balance, man.
It actually did, by the way. So Grant ended up going out on the corkscrew. He did really well considering his size, and he really put everything he had into trying to hang on there. The third one was the one that took him out. He wasn't in the top 12, unfortunately, so he doesn't move on.
That sucks, but I mean, that corkscrew is just not made for bigger guys. It's doable, don't get me wrong, but I mean, the bigger you are, the harder time you're gonna have with that thing.
Yeah, for sure.
There are some obstacles where it's just, I'm so curious to try it, and the corkscrew is just one. Even, you're not Ninja Warrior or anything, but you do you did some rock climbing and stuff like that, right, Rich?
Yeah.
Would you want to try the corkscrew? I feel like even you might be interested in trying it.
No, that one doesn't appeal to me for me to try it. There's not a lot of obstacles where I look at it and go that would be fun. I think
which one stands out to you?
The Ferris wheel, I think, is one of the few that I thought, well, that would be kind of cool to try.
Oh. That's a good point. I can totally see that with you. Yeah. Do you think you can withstand the drop?
Not for a minute. No, not any of it. But
I feel like if you train hard enough, you could do it, man.
Oh, if I trained hard enough and dropped about 50 or 60 pounds, sure. At the weight I'm at and shape I'm in, no, not even close. But it's interesting. I enjoy the show. And I've had that question a lot of times over the years. Why do you watch a show? This is you're not an athlete. People that don't understand why I would watch that. Well, it's the same reason I watch
your response to
shows about dancing, not Dancing with the Stars. So You Think You Can Dance and other athletics. It's not because I can do it. It's because I can't. I find it so fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, my response to any of that would be well, why do you watch football or MMA or anything? It's what, you think you could do that?
But it's not an interest in doing it. It's an interest in seeing someone else who can do these things that I find just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, that is why it's very important to have the vignettes and make a connection and, a form of relationship with these ninjas. Because otherwise you're just seeing people do stuff. But, I mean, you care if Grant McCartney, moves on. You care if
exactly.
Najee Richardson or somebody, moves on.
And the next person we were meant to care about was Cameron Baumgartner, who I felt like they glossed over it. It was like reading back later that I realized that he had a blockage in his heart valve that required surgery when he was 12 and things. I didn't really get that from a segment. They kind of focused in on a really, how do I describe this? Do you remember when we didn't know who Jeff Britton was, and they brought other ninjas in to say how great Jeff Britton was? I kind of felt like that with Cameron Baumgartner, where it's like, hey, Ethan Swanson, tell everybody how great Cameron is. And it's like, I'm going to pay attention to this guy, because if they're doing that, maybe he's got some big things coming.
I could totally see that, that connection. With him, I mean, for one, apparently, as a kid, I looked like him. So if you want to know what I looked like as a kid, it was him, just far skinnier, not as buff as this dude. But I think that was like the main conversation with my wife and I when watching this guy. But I mean, yeah, a part of me actually appreciates the fact that they glossed over, or they mentioned the heart valve, but it wasn't like the whole thing. Because when they go on like, oh, I'm this guy, but my life was turned upside down, once this whole tragic thing happened like 15 years ago.
Right.
It's like, all right, come on, guys. I appreciate the fact that they mention it, but it's not his life. Like, I appreciate the fact that he's not going to be known for just having a heart valve, There's more to him than just that.
Yeah, don't define him by that. I get that. I wasn't really that drawn in, I'll be honest, at first, until he hit the corkscrew. And when I saw how crazy well he did that, he got my attention.
Yeah, I mean, this dude has a lot of promise. He's very fit. He's very young. I mean, I think we got, a star, not a star on our hands, but someone that can do really well.
Oh,
but I mean, with kids like his age, I mean, in his youth and everything like that, it's one of those things where I see enough times where we just got to wait and see.
So actually, I did notice one other thing I remember now. So all of his supporters all had this shirts that said Team Cam. It's like, you're telling me that his nickname is The Bomb, like, which is perfect, right? Cameron Baumgartner. Yeah, The Bomb. Absolutely, 100%. That is his nickname. Why do his shirts say Team Cam? They're plain red shirts with the white text or yellow text that said Team Cam. Like, you guys missed a huge opportunity. Like, what the heck are you doing?
I mean, who knows? It could have been NBC being like, hey, we don't want bombs. Like
That's
thing.
possible.
I don't know.
I hadn't thought of that. That's actually entirely possible. You can't show any bombs on the shirts. You got to do something else. That's funny. All right. Yeah, he was great. He completed the course.
Or maybe they're just lame and didn't think of it. Who knows?
Maybe. There's got to be a way to tie that in. Like, it just seemed like a missed opportunity. And maybe the back's got these, crazy graphics that they don't see. But yeah, he completed the course. He did a fantastic job. Definitely something you have to keep an eye on.
All right, let's get on to the superhero, my man.
Well, I'm going to actually mention one fast forward. There is one that I have to mention. Jackson Twait, who is...
James.
Who are you shaming? Jackson Twait?
Shaming you for bringing up...
He ended up slipping on the spider trap. He did like really well through the whole course, and then ended up tripping up at the very end. Like, I felt so bad. It was like way ahead of time. He was doing amazingly well, and then to fail on the spider trap is like, oh man, that must have sucked.
So unfortunate. Why don't he cry to his kitty cat dolls or whatever?
Right. Oh, that's why you got the shame. But yeah, sure, fair enough. Jamie Rahn. Let's move on to
I don't hate you, man. But
I know you don't.
That needs to go.
I think everybody knows you don't actually hate on the guy, but that segment is painful. But let's go into Captain NBC.
Yes.
Jamie
okay,
Rahn.
I totally forgot this dude cut off his thumb pretty much.
Me too.
And then they go back to him, and I was like, oh, man. I'm like, now I gotta think about that again. Like, oh, so gross. I'm so glad he's okay. But, man.
Yeah, they cut to a mid-run, which I wish they would do more. I think that's a fantastic way to get more people crammed in. Like, we don't need to see him do the first couple of obstacles. That's a perfect way to
cosign.
dense things down. He ended up making a small error. He was doing so well, like way better than he should have with that thumb injury. Made it all the way to the dungeon and ended up making a mistake when jumping to the last panel. Ended up going out.
Sucks. I mean, not many people failed at that, that transition. But I mean, first of all, think about how far this guy went, and think about how heavy this course is. And he did it with basically like a thumb that was cut off, basically, and is still healing. Fusing back to his body. And this poor guy has to, do this. This is superhuman. This guy's amazing. But, oh my word, would I never be able to even step on that course with that kind of injury.
He did stage 1 with no shoes. Never doubt Captain NBC. He can get it done.
Yeah, for real, man. Could you imagine... your thumb, or, being in the state that his is in and doing the corkscrew.
I can't imagine having a splinter or anything even minor going on in your hand and trying to do the corkscrew. The fact that he did it with, a portion of his thumb removed is ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't even want to think about it.
I wish I was more prepared to gross you out some more. I know it makes you squeamish. It's pretty funny. But he's fine. He's fine. He kept giving the thumbs up. He's all good.
Why'd you do that? Oh. That said, did he move on? He made it far enough, right?
Yeah, the dungeon. He should be fine. Yeah, he'd be moving on. I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
After him, we had Daniel Gill, who just...
I mean, he Daniel Gilled it. What can you say? I mean, I got nothing to say. It was perfect.
He yawned. That was hilarious that they called him out. He yawned on the course.
I forgot he yawned. That was so dope. and he is one of the few ninjas that can get away with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was not cocky. It was just the fact that he was just like, yeah, a little bored, whatever, almost done. I'm gonna get through. It's hilarious.
Daniel Gill. I still think he might be the last mid standing this year.
Oh God, he's got to be, right. He's so amazing. Alyssa Beard ended up going out on Clockwork. She missed the last grab.
That was surprising. Yeah, Alyssa's really good. I mean, I have to go back to her runs, but I feel like she's pretty good at the transition type obstacles. It just, I guess it was a freak accident. Do you know what happened? Did she miss a grip or something like that?
I don't really know. I honestly was looking down. It was one of those times where it's like, I just assumed she was going further and missed it. And I'm not quite sure what happened.
Yeah, I mean, hang on. I'm rewatching it right now. First of all, dope outfit that she's wearing. Oh, she just fully missed the transition, that final transition. She fell a little short. I don't know if the Clockwork didn't spin in position enough, or if she didn't get enough of a kip up. It looks like she didn't get high enough of a kip up, but I could be wrong. But either way, she just missed it. That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's a short season. It is weird, right? The way this works, because even if she had made it through, we only have one more episode with her. It's not like she's not going to Vegas and we don't get I don't know. It's just odd somehow.
Yeah. So I got a lot to say about the next segment. Let's get into it.
Jake Murray. I knew you would. We have Jake Murray, and his segment is him with Kyle Soderman and Hunter Gerard doing some caving.
Nope. There is so much nope going on in this segment. I can't even tell you, my man. I mean, you know me. I thought it was corny and cheesy, his antics, before the course. I didn't hate it or anything, but I'm like, all right, I get it. I don't know why it's the most famous thing in the planet. The fact that he jumped into a pool with a corn dog.
Right.
But whatever. But, yo, this takes a cake. This was hitting on every fear that I've got. I don't know. I felt personally attacked. I did not like this. I don't know what Kyle Soderman and all of them have against me, but no thank you. no, this was not cool. We got them like going in tiny little tunnels and getting stuck. Dude, did you see those spiders? Bro,
I did. They're
you
pulsing
see
on the
those
whole
floating
ceiling.
spiders? Like,
Yeah.
this is nasty. Like, there is so much nope going on. I could tell you, if I was in that cave, I would not be coming back. It's the end of my life. I wouldn't make it back. There is a reason, I don't want to play the race card, but there's a reason black people don't get eaten by sharks or suck in caves or anything like that, because I ain't doing that kind of stuff. Nope and nope. No thank you. That said, props to them for being that brave, but that is some craziness. And hey, if he wants to be the wild man, this is a way to prove that you're a wild man, because no thank you.
See, none of that really
said,
bothered
Rich,
me. I gotta say, before we move on, like, really, none of that bothered me that much. I was like, yeah, there's some spiders. They're not, like, dangerous spiders. Like, I didn't really think that much. Like, it didn't mean much to me. Like, getting stuck, I was like, oh, geez, I might have to go get some help. Like, it wasn't, none of it really, like, played on any of those fears for me at all.
Must be nice. No. No and no. Absolutely not. You see how they're pulsing? And do you see how many there were? And all those legs? I don't care. I don't care if they got fangs. I don't care if they're not poisonous. I don't care. No and no. One of those things touch me, and I'm screaming, and you'll hear me all the way from Canada. That is not happening. No, thank you.
I'd be more scared to take the chorus than to go into that cave. That is kind of funny to think of.
Oh, I would do this course 10 times over rather than be stuck in that cave of torture. No, thank you. That said, I mean, it really brought up the fact for me of, like, did we see Kyle Soderman or, oh my God, what's the guy's name?
Hunter
the
Gerard.
Frog Ninja?
No, I don't remember seeing
Hunter
either one
Gerard.
of them.
Don't you think, like, the three are right there, right, bro? Like, the perfect team. The whole point of this whole season is you got the team captain and the two people with them.
Yeah, but
where were their team?
They made a point of picking newer people for their team. It wasn't like, I don't think there was any teams that were, like, elite, like, veteran ninjas.
I mean, I get it, but, like, Kyle Soderman and Hunter Gerard, they know people. Like, I don't know. I feel like, at the very least, Kyle Soderman and Hunter Gerard could have, like, picked one of their buddies, and they could have been a team. I don't know if I'm biased because I like the two dudes, but I don't know. They have the fun antics. They're there. At least they got some spots in. Did you see that, by the way? Kyle Soderman's apparently an ANW veteran. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I mean, he had a full segment last year where he was the dinosaur. They're showing him, he plays one of the raptors at the theme park and stuff. They did give him a segment.
He's been in, what, 2 seasons?
Yeah, something like that.
I guess that makes you a veteran. I mean,
sort of.
I guess it's semantics of what you equate a veteran to be.
Right. Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah, I would typically refer a veteran would be someone that had been there, like, many years. Not, like, I mean, technically you're an A&W veteran.
I guess.
Put that on your business cards from now on. A&W veteran.
Yeah, my resume, right?
Yeah. But yeah, Jake took the course. He was, like, just flying through the course, just making even Daniel Gill, who is amazing and goes so smoothly and so fast. Jake was beating his time pretty handily when he got to the spider trap and then slowed down a lot. Like, for a split second, I thought maybe they had, like, done the old switcheroo because I feel like a lot of times they just move the faster speeds after the slower speeds for the episode. But it seems pretty clear that when he hit that buzzer, there was only 1 second difference, and it cuts to Matt Nockbar on the stage freaking out that it was 1 second. Like, I think it was legitimately he just barely beat him.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows what happened, but I'm glad he was able to do it, and it did provide a lot of drama. But number one thing that I have to say is Kyle Soderman and Hunter Gerard are fantastic sideline whatever support. Like, obviously... Yeah. I doubt, he was able to hear them, but just seeing their faces just screaming into the camera and all that kind of stuff. And then on top of that, with the hosts also freaking out, it really heightened both the drama and the intensity for the whole run. This was actually very, very entertaining for not only, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name.
Jake Murray. What is wrong with me?
Anyways, it wasn't only due to Jake Murray and, his... amazing run, but also everybody involved around him. It was just, in my opinion, great.
If you're gonna have somebody on your sidelines, an ANW veteran and Beastmaster is a good choice for sure.
For real. Shame on me for forgetting Jake Murray's name, by the way. Like, it's one of those things where my brain just shuts off. I'm like, what?
It happens. It's fine. Adam Rail next on the course with the lovely Vicky Rail up on the screen, who I could just watch.
I love her.
She is the best sideline person, I swear. I just love that look on her face. I feel that look in my soul. Like, I just know as a parent, like, what that feels like, where you're just like, oh, please don't get hurt. Please, like, just make it through okay. I think she's the best.
Dude, if your daughters are, like, ever on this show, I could totally see you being like Vicky Rail.
Oh, I'd
like,
lose my mind.
You would be...
lose my mind.
Yeah.
I've had, like, for whatever reason in the past month, all three of my daughters have had moments where they've scared me for their safety, and all three are fine. But all three are going to put me in a mental institution here soon, like, if they don't stop. Like, minor car accidents and stuff. Like, that level of, like, okay, stop with the drama. Like, just chill. Can we get through the rest of 2020, please?
We're almost there.
But, yeah, Adam did amazing on the course. Completed it all. You know, he's one of my favorite ninjas to watch.
Yeah, he made it look so easy. And, I mean... what else can you say? It's Adam Rail.
Yeah. But you know what? I say he's one of my favorites, and he is one of my favorites, but Jessie Labreck takes the course and just steals the show. Oh my God, I love her. She is just fantastic in every way imaginable. She ended up, why is this a thing? Like, it's so weird at this point that she keeps falling where Krista Ganji falls. Like, why is that always happening?
Who's Krista Ganji?
Labreck's boyfriend. She keeps going out where Labreck's boyfriend falls. Or fiance.
That is true. Like, Labreck's fiance always seems to be like, you know, the goalposter. It's almost like, this is the wall that you will hit. Maybe she's just a very supportive, I guess, fiance, you know, loving one. And she's like, well, you know, we're a team. So if you go out here, I'll go out here.
It passed my mind for a second. Like, is she doing that on purpose? No, I don't think she is. She was like,
I doubt it.
Very, very gritting through trying to complete the whole thing. It's just, I think they train just as hard and so similarly. Like, they just end up with that same level of fitness that just coincidentally makes them go in the same spot.
That said, I mean, Labreck, it's just so amazing. I mean, she was going through these obstacles just in a pace that was amazing, and she's so strong doing it. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just so high up on her. I genuinely believe the next female ninja warrior, or, you know, the one that make a new record or something like that.
Yeah,
it's going to be somebody named Jessie.
Stage 2, the first one to take it down. It's got to be Jessie. Yeah. One of the Jessies.
Yeah, I know this is a super hot take.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, wow!"
No one's thought of that before. But she really is that good. She is crazy. I had something a second ago. See, this is why I like to edit. What was I gonna say?
No editing.
No editing. This is staying in. She was going through. Yeah, I forget whatever it was.
Whatever it was, I'll tell you this, man. The whatever that spinning out the corkscrew, man, she was like one of the best things about the corkscrew is the fact that some ninjas, you know, they hold their body up and they can do it in their whatever, but some of the ninjas like Labreck and Jody Avila, they are just flailing. Like, that thing is whipping these ninjas around like and it was quite amazing seeing her do that, and she's flailing like this thing is spinning her around like a helicopter, and yet she still holds on. That was amazing.
Yeah, she was the one that ended up knocking out Kid Awadi. That was the part I was thinking of a second ago. Like, that's pretty crazy. That left one more runner. She ended up going out on the dungeon. I guess we didn't mention where she went out. Same place that Labreck's fiance had gone out. Partway through the like, she made it up to the vertical part, and then once it dropped down, didn't have the grip strength left to get across. But
Yeah.
So
and
close.
thank you for being respectful and calling him by his name.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
we're not here to disrespect anybody.
I was trying to make sure I was respectful to him.
Yes.
Jody Avila, the last runner of the night, and I gotta say, it was one of my favorite moments of the whole night. It's in a weird way. I was sitting there like grumbling to myself, like, yeah, Jody Avila's the last runner of the night. Gee, I wonder if he's gonna beat the time. Blah, 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 doing my typical
Really?
like grumbling, like yeah, whatever. Let's just see him complete the course. And then he fell on the dungeon, and the fact that he qualified mitigates it a little bit. Where I'm like, okay, I don't feel bad for celebrating this a little bit, but the fact that they pulled the rug out was great. Like I like having that doubt that he's gonna make that the last runner is gonna make it.
See, for me, I thought 100% he was gonna fail at the corkscrew because I mean, look at him. This dude is huge. Like,
yeah.
The corkscrew has got to be like this guy's worst nightmare. And he completed it. That was like the highlight of the episode to me. Like, that was amazing. And you could tell it was not easy for this poor guy.
No, it was not.
If there was ever somebody that's going to injure themselves on that darn obstacle, it's Jody Avila. Like, have you ever seen, like, when you, like, get, like, two, like, pieces of rope or strings, and you just, like, whip them around, they just, like, instantly start knotting up like that? That was him and his whole body and his arms. Like, I can't imagine how painful that was for this poor guy. Also, just, it was so awesome seeing his wife and his kids again, because, my gosh, he's got just the most adorable, cutest family on the planet.
It's true. It's true. And
other than yours, Rich, of course, but, you know.
Right. She was, she had to go home, they said. She's wearing the mask and with her kids because she's, was needed back at the hospital again. It's just crazy. Crazy times we live in. I really hope we get to a position that we can have a normal season of ANW next year, that we're all in a better spot. But yeah, it's nice. It's that they spent some focus on some of the frontline workers this season, which I kind of figured they would.
Yeah.
But when they can bring it into like the families of the ninjas too, I think that's extra special.
Yeah, I like it when it's not forced, right? Because they could have easily just done a segment out of nowhere for, like, brought someone in that, you know, just like, you know what I'm talking about, where all of a sudden you've got, like, some first responder, but they have no real business being on the show.
I mean, I don't want to call out someone, but I do feel like they had at least one where that may have been the case.
Yeah. But with Avila's wife, we've seen her, and she's earned that spot, and that is what made it such a powerful moment. You know, when I look back at the season, honestly, Avila's wife, and I apologize, I forgot her name. That's going to be one of the highlights for me.
Yeah, I feel like this has been a good season, despite it being shorter and the weirdness of it all and lack of a crowd and everything we've had to deal with it. I'm really glad that they decided to do the season. I think it's been really good.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like they can learn some things. They've tried some stuff out. I really feel like they need to stick with this format of, you know, being in a stadium. And possibly the acoustics can be better. And most importantly, it sounds like they filmed it at a much better time. Once again, when I ran my run, it may not look like it, but it was about 4 or 5 in the morning. Okay, yeah. It was very late, and for the people in the crowd, just imagine these poor people. It's for everybody involved, not convenient. So there's a lot better things that they can learn from trying stuff out this season.
As one of the poor people in the crowd at 4 a.m., I can definitely say that it is not. It makes for a very long night for sure, especially when you have 2 teenage girls with you who are rapidly losing interest in the whole process.
I bet, man.
But yeah, that was the episode. I don't know why I was expecting after, because we've had power towers and things along the way. I was like, oh, I guess that's it. Yeah, I guess we're done.
Oh yeah, I felt like it was kind of anticlimactic, and that's what it was. It was a power tower that we were missing.
Yeah, I guess, and we got used to it that quickly, right? So we had power towers after city finals. before, but this isn't city finals. It's semifinals. So
yeah, I mean, a part of me is like, oh, I wish I had there as a power tower, but I mean, really, it wouldn't be fair to have like a safety pass or something if the next round is straight to the finals or the equivalent of like a stage 3. Like, it's not even like a 3-tiered stage thing, you know? It's just straight one last course, it sounds like. So probably not fair.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it for the semifinals 1. We have semifinals 2 to watch and record here before too long, and we'll get that out to you. And then one more episode.
Before we go, you think they're going to change up the course, or are we going to keep the same course?
I would expect the same course, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. I feel like it might be the same course, but just to be a contrarian, I'm going to say they switch up 1 or 2.
I feel like they probably will, but I don't want them to. I really want them to just use this course. It's one of the few times I would say use the same course. Like, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah. I'll say this. If they keep it the same, I'm not going to be hating on it.
Yeah. So I guess that's something we learned from this episode.
Well, I just spoiled myself, actually. I didn't see this before, but they have a preview for next week, and there are new obstacles. So there's that.
Well, we learned today, though, that, you know what? If you make the obstacles hard enough and interesting enough, we're good with some repeat courses.
100%. I really hope they keep the corkscrew, though, because that was so dope.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is it for this week. Thank you all so much for listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
A good question. Hang on. Let me tell you. Hello, everyone. You can reach me at Bijan151. That is BIJAN151 on Twitter and Instagram. Oh, yeah.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening.
This is going to be a worst episode ever, man. Or it's going to be like, Bobby, why are they playing this music?
Have a good week.
Deuces, y'all. I apologize so much to all you parents out there.
Shame.